How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Monday, December 6th, 2021. Taking a step back and looking at where we are in the calendar year, with the baseball season being long over, we are towards the end of the college football season, as all there's left to play are bowl games. In the NFL, we are entering like the last third of the season, as the last matchup of the 13th week of football was played yesterday. In terms of basketball, the basketball seasons are just getting underway for college and the pros. And then looking at what's going on overseas with soccer, because we are approaching the end of the calendar year, we're almost at the midway point of domestic and international tournaments as well. So first, starting with what's going on with college basketball, starting with the 14th ranked team in the nation, the Houston Cougars hosted the unranked Alcorn State Braves. Houston would end up beating Alcorn State 77-45. They won this game by 34 after they outscored Alcorn by 20 in the first half and by 12 in the second. The 14th ranked Houston Cougars were led in scoring by their guard off the bench, Tremont Mark. Their sophomore out of Dickinson, Texas, would go on to finish with 18 points, as he would go on to finish with 3 steals in 28 minutes. He would go on to shoot 5 for 9 from the field and a perfect 7 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the 14th ranked Houston Cougars are now 8-1, and with this loss, unranked Alcorn State is 1-7. Looking at the 20th ranked team in the nation, the Florida Gators hosted unranked Texas Southern. TSU would end up beating Florida 69-54 to pick up their very first win of the season. They outscored Florida by 10 in the first half and by 5 in the second. On the losing end of this matchup, the 20th ranked Florida Gators were led in scoring by their starting guard, Brandon McKissick. Their starting senior out of Ferguson, Missouri, would go on to finish with 15 points and 3 steals in 35 minutes. He shot 4 for 6 from the field, all of his field goals coming from 3. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Texas Southern Tigers were led by their guard off the bench, P.J. Henry. P.J. Henry, their junior out of Houston, would go on to finish with 16 points in 27 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3. With this win, the unranked Texas Southern Tigers are 1-7, and with this loss, the 20th ranked Florida Gators are 6-2 on the year. Taking a look at what went down in the NFL, looking at the last matchup of the 13th week of the NFL season, the Buffalo Bills hosted their division rival, the New England Patriots. The Patriots would end up beating the Bills 14-10 after they outscored the Bills 11-7 in the first half, and they outscored, and then both teams would end up kicking a field goal in the second half. The Patriots, their field goal coming in the fourth quarter, Bills coming in the third. On the losing end of this matchup, the Bills were led by their elite starting quarterback, Josh Allen. Their elite starting quarterback out of Wyoming would complete 15 of his 30 passes, as he threw for 145 yards and a touchdown. He was also the Bills' leading rusher, as he had 39 yards on the ground on 6 carries. He would finish with 184 total yards of offense. The Bills' leading receiver was their elite wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. He had 4 receptions for 51 yards on the day. The Bills' leading tackler was Jordan Poyer. He finished with 9 on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the Patriots were led by their starting quarterback out of Alabama, their first-round overall pick, Mac Jones. Jones threw for 19 yards on the day, as he only completed 2 of 3 passes. The Patriots' leading rusher was Damian Harris. He had 10 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown. Their second leading rusher, Ramondre Stevenson, had 24 carries for 78 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, Devon Godchaux finished with 10 tackles on the day, as he led the team in tackles. And with this win, the New England Patriots are now 9-4. On the losing end of this matchup, the Buffalo Bills are now 7-5 on the year, as that concludes the 13th week of football. The 14th week, of course, will pick up on Thursday, as the Minnesota Vikings host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Taking a look at what's going on in the NBA from yesterday, starting off in North Carolina, the Charlotte Hornets hosted the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers would end up beating the Hornets 100 127 to 124 after they outscored the Hornets 8-5 in overtime. Looking on the losing end of this matchup, the Hornets were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Kansas, Kelly Oubre Jr. Kelly Oubre finished with 35 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals in 43 minutes. He shot 13 for 24 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Philadelphia 76ers were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Joel Embiid. Embiid finished with 43 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists in 41 minutes. Embiid shot 15 for 20 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and 12 for 14 from the foul line. Their starting power forward out of Tennessee, Tobias Harris, finished with 21 points and 11 rebounds alongside 2 blocks in 41 minutes. Harris shot 7 for 18 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he would go on to shoot 5 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the Philadelphia 76ers are 13-11, and with this loss, the Charlotte Hornets are now 14-12. Now looking at what is going down in Detroit, the Pistons hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder would end up beating the Pistons 114-103 after they outscored the Pistons by 20 in the fourth quarter, coming into the fourth quarter trailing by 9. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Pistons were led in scoring by their starting point guard, the number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham finished with 28 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 turnovers in 36 minutes. He shot 11 for 24 from the field and 6 for 11 from 3. Their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant, finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in 35 minutes. Grant shot 9 for 16 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and he would make his only free throw attempt on the night. On the winning end of this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He finished with 30 points and 13 assists alongside 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 20 from the field and 12 for 15 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Lou Dort, finished with 28 points and 2 steals as well as 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 19 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throw attempts on the night. With this win, the Oklahoma City Thunder are now 7-16, and with this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 4-19. Jumping out to Indianapolis, the Indiana Pacers hosted the Washington Wizards. The Pacers would end up beating the Wizards 116-110. The Pacers outscored the Wizards by 10 in the first half and virtually carried that momentum through the end of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Wizards were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Bradley Beal. Beal finished with 34 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 12 for 19 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and 9 for 10 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Pacers were led in scoring by their former All-Star Domantas Sabonis. He finished with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 11 for 15 from the field and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Indiana Pacers are now 10-16. With this loss, the Washington Wizards are now 14-11 on the year. Taking a look at what's going on in Miami, the Heat hosted the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies would end up beating the Heat 105-90. The Grizzlies outscored the Heat by 9 in the first quarter they outscored the Heat virtually through the first 3 quarters of this matchup. The Heat on the losing end were led in scoring by their point guard off the bench, Tyler Hero. Hero finished with 24 points and 5 turnovers in 25 minutes. He shot 11 for 19 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3. Their elite starting point guard, Kyle Lowry, would finish with 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists in 40 minutes as Lowry shot 5 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler, finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals in 25 minutes. Butler shot 4 for 13 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies were led in scoring by their starting small forward out of Oregon, Dylan Brooks, and their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, out of TCU. Brooks finished with 21 points and 8 assists, as well as 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 21 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds and 2 steals in 31 minutes as he shot 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 14-10. With this loss, the Miami Heat are 14-11 on the year. Taking a look at what's going on in Chicago, the Bulls hosted the Denver Nuggets. The Bulls would end up beating the Nuggets 109-97, and the Bulls would go on to outscore the Nuggets by a combined 15 points in the second half, by a combined 21 points after the first quarter. The Nuggets on the losing end were led in scoring by their starting small forward Will Barton and their starting point guard Monte Morris. Will Barton finished with 19 points and 5 rebounds in 35 minutes as he shot 8 for 20 from the field. Monte Morris had 19 points and 7 assists in 35 minutes as he shot 8 for 13 from the field and 3 for 5 from 3. Their elite starting center, the reigning NBA MVP Nikola Jokic, finished with 17 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. Jokic shot 6 for 17 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of UCLA, Zach LaVine. He finished with 32 points and 3 rebounds and 8 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 13 for 23 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting center, Nikola Vucevic, finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds in 35 minutes as he shot 8 for 24 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. Their starting point guard out of UCLA, Lonzo Ball, would finish with 20 points and 10 rebounds alongside 4 blocks in 40 minutes. Lonzo shot 7 for 15 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are now 17-8. With this loss, the Denver Nuggets are now 11-12. Taking a look at what went down with the Milwaukee Bucks, the reigning NBA champs hosted the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were able to pull off a 112-104 win on Giannis Antetokounmpo's 27th birthday. The Bucks outscored the Cavaliers by a combined 10 points in the middle 2 quarters. On the losing end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks were led in scoring by their starting center, Jared Allen. Allen finished with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 38 minutes. He shot 10 for 12 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. Their starting power forward out of Arizona, Lauri Markkanen, finished with 20 points and 7 rebounds in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the defending champs, Milwaukee Bucks, were led in scoring by the reigning NBA All-Star Game MVP, the reigning NBA Finals MVP, and the birthday boy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Their elite starting power forward out of Greece finished with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists in 27 minutes as he shot 9 for 19 from the field, a perfect 3 for 3 from 3, and he shot 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, former All-Star Chris Middleton, finished with 21 points and 8 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field and 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, Jrue Holiday, finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals, alongside 5 turnovers in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field and 2 for 3 from 3. With this win, the Milwaukee Bucks are now 16-9. With this loss, the Cleveland Cavaliers are now 13-12. Taking a look at what went down in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Timberwolves hosted the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks would end up beating the Timberwolves 121-110. They won this game by 11 after they outscored the Timberwolves by a combined 13 points in the first half, by a combined 18 points through the first 3 quarters of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns. He finished with 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as 5 fouls in 41 minutes. Towns shot 11 for 24 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 7 from the foul line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Malik Beasley, finished with 24 points and 5 rebounds in 28 minutes. He shot 9 for 18 from the field and 6 for 13 from 3. Their starting small forward and former number 1 overall pick, Anthony Edwards, finished with 21 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 40 minutes. Ant shot 6 for 19 from the field and 2 for 6 from three, as well as a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Trae Young. Trae Young finished with 29 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals, as well as 5 turnovers in 36 minutes. Trae Young shot 7 for 18 from the field, 4 for 9 from three, and 11 for 13 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, would finish with 23 points in 38 minutes as he shot 8 for 18 from the field and 7 for 14 from three. And then their power forward off the bench, Danilo Gallinari, would finish with 20 points and 5 rebounds in 24 minutes. Gallo shot 7 for 10 from the field, 4 for 6 from three, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Atlanta Hawks are 13-12. With this loss, the Minnesota Timberwolves are now 11-13. Taking a look at what's going down in Phoenix, the Suns hosted the San Antonio Spurs. The Phoenix Suns would end up beating the San Antonio Spurs 108-104, winning this game by 4 after they outscored the Spurs by 16 points in the middle 2 quarters. On the losing end, the Spurs were led in scoring by their starting point guard, DeJounte Murray. He finished with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 14 assists, and 2 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field, a perfect 2 for 2 from three, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, out of Wake Forest. Paul finished with 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists in 35 minutes as he shot 9 for 18 from the field, 2 for 5 from three, and 1 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are now 20-4. With this loss, the San Antonio Spurs are now 8-14 on the year. Jumping out to San Francisco, the Golden State Warriors hosted the Orlando Magic. The Warriors would end up beating the Magic 126-95. They won this game by 31 after they outscored the Magic by 21 in the first half, and then they went on to outscore them by 12 in the fourth quarter. On the losing end, the Magic were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Gary Harris. Harris finished with 17 points in 28 minutes. He shot 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 6 from three, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. On the winning end, the Golden State Warriors were led in scoring by their goated starting point guard, Stephen Curry. Their starting point guard, Adam Davidson, would finish with 31 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 31 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 7 for 13 from three, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting small forward and former number 1 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, will go on to finish with 28 points in 30 minutes as he shot 9 for 17 from the field, 8 for 10 from three, and he would go on to shoot 2 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Golden State Warriors are 20-4. With this loss, the Orlando Magic are now 5-20 on the season. Last but not least, jumping out to Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the LA Clippers. The Clippers would end up beating the Trailblazers 102-90. They would win this game by 12 after they went on to outscore the Trailblazers by 4 in the third and by 9 in the fourth by a combined 13 after they went into the half trailing by 1. On the losing end of this matchup, the Trailblazers were led in scoring by their starting center, Jusuf Nurkic. Nurkic finished with 31 points and 5 rebounds in 30 minutes as he shot 12 for 19 from the field, 1 for 2 from three, and 6 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Norman Powell, finished with 29 points and 5 rebounds in 44 minutes. He shot 10 for 24 from the field, 2 for 8 from three, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the LA Clippers were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George. George finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals in 39 minutes. He shot 9 for 18 from the field, and he would shoot 3 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the LA Clippers are now 13-12. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are now 11-14 on the season. That is what the NBA is looking like following yesterday's matchups, and then taking a look at what's going on internationally. The only big Premier League, the big matchup that took place overseas was in the Premier League as Everton hosted Arsenal. Everton would pull away with a 2-1 win as their goal from Gray in the 92nd minute would give them the 3 points. But that's virtually everything going on today today as we are getting ready to go into the final 2 days of the Champions League group stage. And once the group stage is done, I will do a whole episode for that. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 19-20 minutes of this piece. I do want to thank ESPN, the NCAA websites, the NFL, the NBA, and the FIFA website to give me all the facts and figures that I needed for this episode. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I will come back tomorrow on Wednesday, December 8th, 2021 for another episode as we navigate through this world of sports one day at a time. Thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out.